Gainer of great authority, this Buddha, awesome Sound King, had a lifespan of kalpas equal to 400,000 million nayutas of Ganges sands. His counterfeit law endured in the world for as many kalpas as there are dust particles in one Jambudvipa. His counterfeit law endured in the world for as many kalpas as there are dust particles in the 4 continents. After this Buddha had finished bringing great benefit to living beings, he passed into extinction. After his correct law and counterfeit law had come to an end, another Buddha appeared in the same land. He too was named Awesome Sound King, thus come one, worthy of offerings of right and universal knowledge, perfect clarity and conduct, well gone understanding the world, unexcelled worthy trainer of people, teacher of heavenly and human beings, Buddha, world-honored one. This process continued until 20,000 million Buddhas had appeared, one after the other, all bearing the same name. After the original Awesome Sound King, thus come one, had passed into extinction, and after his correct law had also passed away, in the period of his counterfeit law, monks of overbearing arrogance exercised great authority and power. At this time there was a Bodhisattva monk named Never Disparaging. Now, gainer of great authority, for what reason was he named Never Disparaging? This monk, whatever persons he happened to meet, whether monks, nuns, laymen, or laywomen, would bow in obeisance to all of them and speak words of praise, saying, "I have profound reverence for you. I would never dare treat you with disparagement or arrogance." Why? Because you are all practicing the Bodhisattva way and are certain to attain Buddhahood. This monk did not devote his time to reading or reciting the scriptures, but simply went about bowing to people, and if he happened to see any of the 4 kinds of believers far off in the distance, he would purposely go to where they were, bow to them, and speak words of praise, saying, "I would never dare disparage you, because you are all certain to attain Buddhahood." Among the 4 kinds of believers, there were those who gave way to anger, their minds lacking in purity, and they spoke ill of him and cursed him, saying, "This ignorant monk, where does he come from, presuming to declare that he does not disparage us and bestowing on us a prediction that we will attain Buddhahood? We have no use for such vain and irresponsible predictions." Many years passed in this way, during which this monk was constantly subjected to curses and abuse. He did not give way to anger, however, but each time spoke the same words, "You are certain to attain Buddhahood." When he spoke in this manner, some among the group would take sticks of wood or tiles and stones and beat and pelt him. But even as he ran away and took up his stance at a distance, he continued to call out in a loud voice, "I would never dare disparage you, for you are all certain to attain Buddhahood." And because he always spoke these words, the overbearingly arrogant monks, nuns, laymen, and laywomen gave him the name Never Disparaging. When this monk was on the point of death, he heard up in the sky fully 20,000, 10,000, a million verses of the Lotus Sutra that had previously been preached by the Buddha, Awesome Sound King, and he was able to accept and uphold them all. Immediately he gained the kind of purity and vision, and purity of the faculties of the ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind that have been described above. Having gained this purity of the 6 faculties, his lifespan was increased by 210,000 million nayutas of years, and he went about widely preaching the Lotus Sutra for people. At that time, when the 4 kinds of believers who were overbearingly arrogant, the monks, nuns, laymen, and laywomen who had looked with contempt on this monk and given him the name Never Disparaging, when they saw that he had gained great transcendental powers, the power to preach pleasingly and eloquently, the power of great goodness and tranquility, and when they heard his preaching, they all took faith in him and willingly became his followers. This Bodhisattva converted a multitude of 1,000, 10,000, million, causing them to abide in the state of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. After his life came to an end, he was able to encounter 2,000 million Buddhas, all bearing the name Sun Moon Bright, and in the midst of their law he preached this Lotus Sutra. Through the causes and conditions created thereby, he was also able to encounter 2,000 million Buddhas, all with the identical name Cloud Freedom Lamp King. In the midst of the law of these Buddhas, he accepted, upheld, read, recited, and preached this sutra for the 4 kinds of believers. For that reason, he was able to gain purification of his ordinary eyes, and the faculties of his ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind were likewise purified. Among the 4 kinds of believers, he preached the law with no fear in his mind. Gainer of great authority, this Bodhisattva and Mahasattva never disparaging in this manner offered alms to a vast number of Buddhas, treating them with reverence and honor and praising them. Having planted these good roots, he was later able to encounter 1,000, 10,000, 1,000,000 Buddhas, and in the midst of the law of these Buddhas, he preached this sutra, gaining benefits that allowed him to attain Buddhahood. Gainer of great authority, what do you think? The Bodhisattva never disparaging who lived at that time, could he be unknown to you? In fact, he was none other than I myself. If in my previous existences I had not accepted, upheld, read, and recited this sutra and preached it for others, I would never have been able to attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi this quickly. Because in the presence of those earlier Buddhas I accepted, upheld, read, and recited this sutra and preached it for others, I was able to quickly attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Gainer of great authority, at that time the four kinds of believers, the monks, nuns, laymen, and laywomen, because the anger arose in their minds and they treated me with disparagement and contempt, were for 200 million kalpas never able to encounter a Buddha, to hear the law, or to see the community of monks. For 1,000 kalpas they underwent great suffering in the Avicii hell. After they had finished paying for their offenses, they once more encountered the Bodhisattva never disparaging, who instructed them in Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Gainer of great authority, what do you think? The four kinds of believers who at that time constantly disparaged this Bodhisattva, could they be unknown to you? They are in this assembly now. Bhadrapala and his group, 500 Bodhisattvas. Lion Moon and her group, 500 nuns. And thinking of Buddha and his group, 500 laymen. All have reached the state where they will never regress in their search for Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Gainer of great authority, you should understand that this Lotus Sutra richly benefits the Bodhisattvas and Mahasattvas, for it can cause them to attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. For this reason, after the Thus Come One has passed into extinction, the Bodhisattvas and Mahasattvas should at all times accept, uphold, read, recite, explain, preach, and transcribe this sutra.